Good evening and welcome to the Carolyn Holt Show. I am excited about the show that we're presenting tonight. I have not one, but two financial planners to help you stop giving all your money away. Now, I know you say, nah, I'm not giving my money away, but yes, you are. And I know because I see you at the candy store, and I see you at Ross and Marshall's and TJ Maxx, even though they are discount. And I even see you buying Swishers. So I know you're frittering away your money when you don't have to. This evening, I have Saundra Pryer and Gloria Wilson, and they are going to talk about ways to use financial vehicles to save for the rest of your life. Because, you know, we're all living longer. And when you live longer, I can almost guarantee you have to take care of yourself, because there's not going to be a long line of people available to take care of you. So you're going to have to put vehicles in place at an early age, if at all possible, so that if you live to be 95 or 100, you can take care of yourself and you can live in the lifestyle that you so choose, not one that's imposed upon you. So tonight we have some ladies that can help us to put all of that in perspective. So they're going to share with us their journey and their story, and hopefully we will all be more knowledgeable by the end of this show, so that we can really start to plan our financial future. Because I know I want to live a long life and a long time, but I want to have a good time while doing so. So, Saundra, how are you this evening?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. And Gloria, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh, okay. So we have two fantastic people and three with me. But what I'd like is, Saundra, I'd like for you to share a little bit of your story as to how you came to know for sure that you really had to do a much better job in terms of planning your financial future. And then Gloria, then you can tell us about how you came to the same conclusion.
Okay.
Well, I'll start a little bit with my experience. I've been working in the food services industry for about 30 years.
Okay.
I always knew I wanted to retire at 60. Said I'm going to retire at 60. And I sat down with a young lady who wanted to share some concepts with me regarding money.
Okay.
So she asked me, what year do you want to retire? And I'm like, oh, at age 16. I'm 50 at the time.
Okay.
Well, I was intrigued with the information that she shared with me, because I didn't know I had to actually plan for my future.
Shocking, isn't it?
I was going to retire at 60 off of what? Nothing. I had nothing saved. I had nothing planned. By the time she got finished with me, she showed me a roadmap. If I want to retire at 60, and this is the amount of money that I'm going to live off, she showed me how much money I needed to save for how length of time to make this amount of money. But because, of course, I was 50, I had to be an aggressive saver.
Okay.
But
because you were getting started late in the game.
I started late.
Okay.
So I had to save way more than the average person that starts at 25.
Okay. All right. And Gloria?
Yes, well, you know, I work in the medical field, and I am a registered nurse, and I have been working for about 30 years in the medical field. I was a nurse in my early 20s, and as a nurse, I was used to living a certain lifestyle. I could go and shop anytime. I could buy anything I wanted. And then after a certain point, when I got into my 40s, I was like, well, I don't want to continue to work as a nurse and maybe hurt my back, because as I got older, you know, I started to feel different things in my body. So I started thinking towards retirement.
Okay.
And then I met a fellow nurse, a practitioner, and she sat me down and she told me, well, what are you doing to plan your future?
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of looked at her. Well, I have a 401 from the company that I work at, and I have life insurance from the company that I work at, and I'm just figuring, oh, well, I could just take my company, what I'm saving from my company. And so when she looked at the vehicle I had from my company and she looked at the lifestyle I was living, she said, this is not near enough for you. Mm-hmm. And so I was kind of like shocked, and then I was disappointed at the same time. So what I did, I started working with her, and she was able to show me how I needed to put more of my monies away and let my company match the monies, which would increase the amount of money I had quicker. And at the same time, I had no idea of saving for emergencies, because my emergency was always my next paycheck.
Or your credit card.
Or my credit card. Yes. Because I knew that I had these at my disposal. And so what she did is she helped me plan a budget.
At 40?
At 40.
Okay. Now listen. If you don't want to have that happen to you, you need to call us at area code 323-293-3375. Again, that's area code 323-293-3375. And if you have questions so that you at 40 don't discover that you need a budget, I want you to call us, because these ladies can help you. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to start with the 14 to 20-year-olds, because 13 to 18-year-olds, they have a lot of money these days. A lot of money, because grandparents give to them, mom and dad gives to them, uncle and aunties, so they have a lot of money. And we want you to start thinking about money as a tool, not just something to spend, because I can tell you with all that's in me, that's how I thought of money. It was simply something that you use to spend, and you do spend money, but you need to understand that there's another side called saving money. And my suggestion is that if you're smart and give some thought, even though I know that's the last thing you want to do, it's very important. And these ladies are testifying to the fact that you do need to become a saver and do some other things very young. Now, with the 14 to 18-year-olds, what would you suggest that mom and dad might help them with, or what would you suggest that they do themselves to get started? Other than the piggy bank, because I think we all know about piggy bank savings. So
they can start a savings account. When I was going to school, we had a savings account.
Okay.
And we just put our little change in it, 50 cents a week or whatever. But they're getting an allowance, like you said, from all of these different people, because I was one of those people giving allowances out as well.
Okay.
They can start putting at least 10% up.
Okay.
Into a savings account.
So they need then to go to the bank with mom and dad and sit down and
at
say.
Least that's a start.
Okay.
It's a start.
A savings account is what you would recommend for this age group.
Start, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you, what is that the same advice that you would offer as well, a savings account for?
Well, when we look at this generation, this is the millennial generation.
Yes.
And we know that the millennials, they want everything like a microwave.
Yeah, right now.
Right
yes.
now. So one thing that we would kind of like to do is kind of like give them some little nuggets of education so they can start kind of learning just how to use money as a tool.
Okay.
So the money can work for them.
Okay.
And one way that we could do that is we could possibly even meet with you and your mom, if you're between those ages, and kind of develop a plan for you. And we can show you how to start investing maybe into some other products with the help of your mom if you're very young. Mm-hmm. But it does not take a lot. It just takes consistency.
Okay. Now, for the 20-year-olds, now, by this time, many of them are in college, and some of them have moved out. So let's just say if if they're 20 and they have rent and insurance for their car and I guess those are the two main things that they may have to pay. Sometimes parents, they take care of that for their children, but in the event that they are not.
Yeah.
What's the first vehicle that you would recommend if you're in your 20s?
There are definitely, as Gloria mentioned, there are definitely vehicles that they can put some money aside. It can be as small as $25 a month.
Okay.
And that money will grow for them over a period of time because it could start out as a small investment.
Okay. What would that investment be called? What would you? I'm 20 and I say, okay, well, I'm in college and I do want to be responsible. What would you say the vehicle? What is the name of it? I don't think we want to get into annuities or dividends or any of that just yet. So
Right.
what would your recommendation be?
A lot of people would start out with something as simple as an insurance policy because with those insurance policies, people don't look at them, but that's another way of building cash.
Okay. Well, I think the confusion, and I know for me, it's between term life and whole life.
Right.
And so they don't understand which one actually has the cash value in it. And there's just a lot of jargon in insurance that does not make sense to someone that's used to having somebody else make decisions for them.
Well,
so what's the difference between them?
Actually, the insurance industry has evolved.
Okay.
There's some new product out on the market. It's called the Index Universal Life Insurance product. And what that is whatever money that they put into it, it mirrors. It's not in the market, but it mirrors the market. So when the market goes up, your money has the potential to grow.
Okay, now when you say market, are you talking about stocks?
The S&P 500, the top 500 companies in America, your money is going to grow along with those as well.
So the S&P 500, they need to become familiar with what companies make up
the S&P
500. Mm-hmm. Okay, because they are going to be using the financial security that these companies present.
Right, but the beauty of this product is when the market goes down or the market is flat or it is negative 5%, you're still guaranteed 1% growth. So you're guaranteed no loss in your money.
Okay. Okay, now I'm 20 years old and you come to me and you say, I can guarantee you that if you use this vehicle, that there's no way that you could lose. How would I know that? What would you what would you show me, I should say?
Well,
that offers the security that I'm going to need to make the decision that, this is a good place to get started. So how would you convince me, I guess, that?
Well, one, they're operated by FINRA, and anybody that's putting any money in there, you're not going to lose. I mean, they're operated by the law that says that we can't take somebody for their money. They can't rip you off or something like that. They're all operated, all these companies. But we also work with the top echelon companies in America. If you ever, I'm just going to use the analogy of sports.
Okay.
When you watch the basketball game.
All right.
What type of commercials do you see?
Okay.
Drinking beer, let's drink beer, let's have fun.
All right.
If you ever watch the bowling or the tennis,
yes,
they're talking about investment.
Good. Now
so
I want you to hold
top companies.
I want you to hold that thought because we're going to go to break.
Okay.
And when we come back, then give us the rest of that explanation because this is good stuff and this is good information because even I don't know this.
Okay.
So thank you so much. We're going to break and we'll be right back.
All right. Thank you.
Mastering math can be big fun. Fun for you and everyone. Play it each and every day. Master math the easy way. Sing, play it, Math Maze.
Why not turn math time into fun time with Math Maze, the new game craze? Get yours today at mathmaze.us.
Mom, now you can help your son master math and have big fun. Play it each and every day. Master math the easy way. Sing, play it, Math Maze.
Make sure your child owns the skills necessary for success in high school algebra. Get it now. Mathmaze.us. Mathmaze.us.
Dad, now you can help your daughter play it like you know you oughta. Play it each and every day. Master math the easy way. Say it, play it, Math Maze.
Math Maze cards contain both Spanish and English. Get yours today at mathmaze.us. That's mathmaze.us.
And we are back. You know what? I'm so excited about money that I wore mine around my neck. So, so this is my money. This is all I have. So I'm going to change that tonight, though, because I have two financial planners here that can help you get set on the right path so that you can start to make better decisions about your money and understand that money is a tool. It's not just something to take care of your bills and pay out. It's a tool, and learning to save money and learning what vehicles to use at what times to grow your money can really make a difference in your life. I know as a young person, it's hard to understand that, and you don't want to get so serious about life so soon. But before you know it, life has caught up to the things that you hadn't even thought of, and you need to do some planning. Planning is always very good. So if you want to get in on the conversation and learn how to use some of these tools that these young ladies are talking about, you can feel free to call us at area code 323-293-3375. Now, when we went to break, Saundra was giving us some great advice about a new tool because most of us are familiar with whole life and term life insurance, and she was recommending that as a young person in your 20s, insurance is a very good financial vehicle to use to get you started. And she gave the name of the insurance that you should look for. And would you say the name of it again, please?
Index Universal Life.
Index Universal Life. If you are in your 20s, that is one of the vehicles that you want to use to get started. Now, she was explaining what Index Universal Life is all about when we went to break. So
actually, I really want to talk a little bit on how it actually works.
okay.
So, say you have $50.
All right. $50. All right.
You want to save $50 a month, and you want to get a life insurance policy. Say the policy is $50,000, and say the policy costs you $25 a month, but you want to save $50. So anything above and beyond the cost of insurance goes to the saving and investment side, which would be the IUL. And how that got started is the tax law 7702. Uncle Sam says any money connected with a life insurance product, there's no taxes on it.
Oh, okay. So this is tax-free savings.
Yes.
So it'll help you also when you do your taxes to reduce your obligation, and therefore there's some additional saving then when you file your income tax.
Right.
Okay. Very good.
Anything above and beyond the cost of insurance goes to the saving and investment side.
Okay.
Now that saving and investment side, because it's an IUL, it's mirroring the S&P 500.
Okay. Now say IUL is the acronym for the
Index Universal Life.
Okay. Index Universal Life is also known as IUL. Okay.
So it's mirroring the market. So whatever the top 500 companies are doing, your money has the opportunity to do the same thing. So when the market is up 12%, 20%, your money actually is a floor and a ceiling. So your money has the potential to grow up to 12% when the market is doing really good. And we all know There's been times when the market has been doing really good.
Okay.
But when the market is negative, you still at least guarantee 1%.
Okay.
So because it's an investment, you want to let it sit. 20, 30 years down the line, when you're ready to pull the money out, you see this dream home you want to put your money towards. You want to buy a car. You could pull that money out. There's no penalties.
Okay.
There's no income limits. There's no
now
taxes on the money.
Now let me ask you this: when you say pull the money out, what amount of this $50 savings can you pull out in, say, 20 years when it's matured?
Whatever is available to you, because this type of vehicle is designed to overfund it. So say you might want to start out with 50, but maybe the maximum you can actually save later down the line, 5 years down the line, after you paid off your credit cards, you can go up another $100 or $200 a month to save.
Okay, so you get to decide how much it is that you want to invest in this.
There's a minimum and a maximum.
Now listen, not only young people, middle-aged and mature people, please feel free to give us a call, because this will help all of us at any age. But we're getting started because we don't want young people to suddenly realize that they've created a financial pickle for themselves and there is no relief in sight. So we're making recommendations at every stage of life. We just finished talking about when you're 20. And the decision you should make is along the lines of insurance. Now, when you are 30, what do you recommend? Because by this time, your financial status has probably changed a little bit. You've had more than one job. You may be starting a family. So what's the recommendation at that point in the 30s?
The same recommendation.
The same, just that vehicle.
Is because when you're younger,
okay,
you're not building any wealth. You have more responsibilities. But when you get older, as you get older, you should have less responsibility and your wealth should be more. So you should have more money to save. That's the way life is supposed to work. But of course, we know it doesn't happen like that.
Right, because most people are saying right now, well, wait a minute. With all this debt I have, how is it possible for me to get this vehicle going when I don't have any disposable income? All of my money goes to bills, and I don't have anything left for recreation or any of that. So how do you suggest that they find the money to save to build their financial portfolio?
Well, the first thing we say is that you have to take care of your responsibilities while building your wealth at the same time.
Okay.
Now, there's lots of money out there being spent that don't have to be spent.
Okay, well, give me an example of money that you shouldn't be spending.
Bottled water.
Oh, no. Everybody has to have bottled. Listen, who does not drink bottled water these days?
I have a filter on my refrigerator.
Okay. All right, so get a filter and stop buying bottled water. So, okay, I like that, bottled water, all right.
Starbucks, how many people go into Starbucks every day? The Frappuccino is $4 or more.
Okay, so Starbucks.
Coffee. You can make your own coffee instead of going to Starbucks every day. If we pulled out a calculator and added how many cups of coffee we drink a week times $2 times a month, times a year, that's a lot of money you could be saving.
All right. Okay. So I grant that. Okay. Where else are we?
Gadgets.
Gadgets.
A lot of people like to have a lot of new gadgets.
Well, that's true, especially related to the cell phones and
cable TV.
Okay.
We get all those channels and we don't even use them. So.
Well, I must admit, I don't have cable TV because I don't watch television that much, and so I do not have cable. Because I agree with you. I think it doesn't matter what the system is; it's too expensive.
And I'm going to talk about my 15-year-old nephew.
Okay.
$200 pair of sneakers.
Oh well, now wait a minute.
They want the latest Michael Jordans.
$200 pair of sneakers is a savings.
Money
Okay,
you
well,
can
what
take.
about women who spend $700 on shoes
Designer
and purses and perfume and hair?
And nails.
Okay.
So what we do is we take a look at what your finances. We take a look at your money.
Okay.
So we say the more money you have,
All right.
the better. And then we look at the period of time that we have to save.
Okay.
We try to put you in vehicles that's going to get you a positive rate of return, but if there's a negative, we still have to factor that in.
Okay.
And then we want to look at inflation because we know inflation has been averaging 3.5%. $10 today is not the same value as $10 10 years from now or 10 years below.
Okay.
So, and then we're going to look at taxes. We try to help minimize taxes as much as we can. And so those combination of things we talk about is we try to get you closer to your wealth.
Okay.
So my wealth may be different from yours. What you might need to live off, it could be different from me. I might need a whole lot more money where somebody else's, it could just be paying a bill.
Okay. Okay. So listen, give us a call at area code 323-293-3375 because my guests, what they're doing is going step by step in your life to help you make the best decisions and to help you look at how you use your money so that you can turn that round for a positive. Now, she just mentioned many times some of the incidentals in life is where you should start with cutting. And many times we have extravagant taste, and as my mother used to say, champagne taste and a lemonade pocketbook. So if that's you, we want you to start thinking about during the day, where are you putting your money? Is it in a safe place to where it can grow? Or are you making sure that other people are using your money to their advantage? Okay, so we're in our 30s and we've figured out how to reduce how we are not saving properly. So what's the next step? By the end of our 30s, into our 40s.
In your 40s.
Yeah, we have a family.
Yeah, people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, now that we have failed to plan, what do you suggest for end of your 30s, beginning of your 40s, and especially if you have a family by now?
Let me tell you what I did.
Okay.
So, because I waited too late, I was in my 50s.
Okay.
My mom is in very good health.
Your mother's
that
in very
time.
good health. Okay.
So what I did, because I needed to finance my future, and I had my IUL going, I had all these different things going. The way the lady structured it for me, I had to save $700 a month because I waited so late.
Okay, $700 a month. Okay.
At the age of 50.
At the age of 50.
Because I wanted to retire at 60.
Okay, so you had 10 years. You were on the fast track.
Yes.
Okay.
So I said, okay, listen, let me finance my mom because my mom, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to outlive her. Why don't I take a big insurance policy out on her while she's still in good health? That will subsidize my future as well. So that's what I did. I took 2-3 policies out on her because I know 9 times out of 10 I'm going to outlive her, and that'll be part of my retirement as well. That's what I did.
When you say insurance policies, these are policies that you take out and you receive it after the person passes away?
Yeah, because I waited too late. I waited till I was in my 50s, and it was too late for, $700 a month. I just wanted to guarantee income.
Okay.
I wanted to guarantee my income. So as a part of my retirement, I took out an insurance policy on her because she was in good health. She actually came back preferred. So I was able to get it cheaper. But at the same time, it's more like transferring wealth from one generation to the other.
Okay, now let me ask you this. With you paying the $700 and you took out this insurance policy on your mom, Now, did that add to what was going out? Did that add to the $700 or?
It was a part of it. No, it was structured.
Okay.
I can save from 80 to 700. In the beginning, because my money was tight, I couldn't save. I started with $88 a month.
Okay.
As I got to pay off my credit card and my car note, I was able to take it up to $300 a month.
Okay.
Then I'm like, oh, hey, here's a short shot investment right here. Let me go ahead and get a policy out on my mom.
Okay.
So, and I'm looking at that as a part of the $700. So I just have it in different vehicles.
Right, because that's the other.
But it's all towards my retirement.
Okay, well, that's the other thing to consider is different vehicles and different ways so that all of your eggs, so to speak, are not in one basket. So in addition to what Saundra is saying, would you also recommend not only an insurance policy, but if you have a family at 40, what would be another vehicle to use in conjunction with, as she said, the insurance policy that you're going to take out? What would because you have children by this time, what would you add to that, if anything?
Well, one thing that we would consider you adding to that policy is the riders for the children, which means that the children would also be insured.
Okay.
I think one of the main reoccurring concepts that we would like to really press for our listening audience is the concepts of early.
Okay.
Because like we said, we kept waiting and we waited too late. But the concept of doing something early, that's the key concept. The earlier you start, the better off you'll be in the future. Just to give you an example, I'm in a position now that within the next 5 to 8 years, I'll be looking towards retirement.
Okay.
Well, I had no idea that with my life insurance being so reasonable on my job, I'm thinking that, oh, well, that's good. I already have life insurance. Well, I did not know that the reason why it's so reasonable on my job is because the company is so large. So we're getting what we call a group discount.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I was educated on with my broker is that I needed to take another insurance policy out for myself in order to live at the same lifestyle.
That's right.
Because 8 years from now, there's going to be inflation rate that comes into existence, and there's going to be other things that come into existence. So that money won't have the same value 8 years from now that it has at this point in time. So.
Okay. Now, Saundra, you made such a good point about thinking about the tool that you're going to use. Now, with the 40s, let's say that you do have a job and you've been on your job for 10 years. Let's say you've been working there since you were 30. Now, is it, what about the 401k or the different Ks, I'll say, that jobs offer? How do they work, and what would you say is beneficial in your 40s?
If your job is matching the 401k, you should take advantage of it. And you want to, as DC Miss Gloria mentioned, that you want to take advantage of, if they're going to match it, you want to put the most you can put into it to get the most that you could get out of it.
Okay.
But the thing is, with the 401ks, you can't touch that money. If you retire early at the age of 50, you can't touch that money till you turn 59 and a half. If you take it out before you turn 59 and a half, you're going to be penalized, and you still have to pay taxes on that.
Okay. So in terms of wealth building, you're saying that the 401k that you've had for 10 years on your job is not an investment that delivers anything in the short term. That would be considered a long-term investment.
Yeah.
It's a good investment.
They're all good.
But it's long-term. You can't, it would not help you if you needed money
right away.
Okay. Now, what would you say would help you if some unforeseen circumstance, besides the insurance that she just mentioned, is there any other vehicle that you should have in place that would help you in the event that an emergency situation presented itself and you needed?
That's the beauty of the IUL.
Oh, okay.
If
Great.
it's an emergency, you can pull the money out with no tax penalties.
At any time.
There's no age limits.
Gotcha.
I've seen it work. My sister pulled money out. She came across an emergency and there was money available. As long as the money is available, you can pull it out.
Oh, okay. As long as you have it.
Yes.
Then, okay, now, say that you had $20,000 saved and you had to take $10,000 out. What would be the recommendation to replace the $10,000 that you took out? What would you say you should then have in place, or just continue what you've always done? What would you recommend?
The beauty with the IUL, you don't really have to replace it.
Okay.
You can just, if you want to continue overfunding it, you can overfund it. That cash value side is considered an investment. And whatever you pull from that, it has nothing to do with the insurance side of it.
Okay.
So that's money that's available to you whenever you need it. And that's the whole point of that, is to put money away for a rainy day,
Okay.
put money away for an emergency, put money away for my goals and dreams. I want to go take that dream vacation that I've always planned.
Okay.
Put money away for that. This is the time to put a down payment on my house, or I want to pay for my kids' educational fund. That's why that money is there. And again, it's designed to overfund it.
Oh, okay. Wow, I like this. This is almost like getting paid residual income, or when you have a vehicle in place to where a percentage you will get over the lifetime of whatever it is that you've created. I like this. So now we are moving from our 40s to our 50s.
Now, one thing I did want to add to what Saundra said is that if you don't have the money in the IUL for about 10 years,
okay,
it may not have compounded or earned enough monies. And it's always smart if you develop what we call an emergency fund, which is usually 3 to 6 months of what your original salary is. And from that separate emergency fund, say, for instance, you do have an IUL, but you've only been investing in the IUL for the last 6 years. And so the IUL may not have built enough monies up, and you have a separate emergency fund on the side. You could go straight to your emergency fund and pull the money from your emergency fund instead of pulling the money from the IUL.
okay.
So it's according to what your need is at that time, and at the time of the emergency, what your financial portfolio looks like. Because if there has not been enough years of savings in that IUL, as far as they like to say at least 10 years
Okay.
or more,
Okay.
it would be smarter to pull from your emergency fund if you have one.
Okay, so you're saying that along with these vehicles, you still need to have an emergency fund, if at all possible. And emergency funds are generally established through bonuses or money that, unplanned money, I'll say, money that you didn't count on. Say, Aunt Susie saw you after maybe not having seen you for 20 years, and she's, oh, baby, I miss you, and here, take this money. So is that what we're talking about? No, that's not what we're talking about in terms of...
Emergency fund, if my car broke down,
Okay,
my hot water heater went out,
okay,
so I need money right away to fix my car, fix my hot water heater.
okay.
Those are emergency. I lose my job or I'm unable to work for 3 months. So I have to have some type of money to live off of.
Okay. No, but I'm saying in terms of acquiring the emergency fund, would you say that if you get a bonus or some unexpected money along the way,
By all means.
that's how you build the emergency fund, and you put that. Now, where do you keep emergency fund money? What's the best place to put it? Is it in the bank? Should you get an annuity? What should you do in terms of this emergency money? Where should it be kept?
Well, there are also different vehicles that you could start building. Some people invest in mutual funds.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes the mutual funds might mature in 7 years. Well, emergencies happen. Emergencies don't wait till 7 years.
Okay.
So sometimes people have had monies that they have placed in a mutual fund, and the mutual fund has matured. Okay. And that means that the mutual fund is a liquid asset. And once the money becomes an asset, a lot of times they educate you to at least 20 to 30,000 just sitting there for an emergency. Now, some people, what they do, they'll take maybe if they have 40,000 because one of the mutual funds just matured and it has become liquid, they might take 20 of that 40,000 and reinvest it and keep 20,000 as a liquid asset, which is really cash money that they could go get at any time in case an emergency occurs. So it's never a good rule to put all of your emergency fund to reinvest all of it, because then you'll be tied up. When the emergency happens, you won't have the money to
So
go.
that's what I'm asking. Should you just leave it in the bank? Should you put it in some other vehicle? Because the bank, you can probably go get it. But in some of these vehicles, are you able to go ahead and get it, whether, go ahead.
I have my emergency fund in an internet account. So it's like a bank, but the bank is online. So
okay.
I
An
can't
online
get
bank.
to it right away. So I don't have a card. So if I can't just go and take money when I want to.
Okay.
So when I need it, I call or I get online and they get it to me within 2 days. So that's just another alternative. I have an internet account for my emergency money, but it's not easy access to it.
All right.
And I don't get it right away.
Okay.
But it's there.
So then would you say in setting this up that you should have some difficulty built in so that it's not easy for you to access emergency funding?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
My emergency fund right now is with USAA, so it's kind of hard for me to get it also, but don't get it to me. They can wire
Now,
it to me.
USAA is an insurance company?
It's an insurance company, but it does different types of plans, and it also invests your monies for you. So I just use them as the vehicle for my emergency fund.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen, I don't want you to do like I'm doing. I don't want you to wear your money around your neck. I want you to put it in a safe place so that when you do need access, you can have it, and you may even have some additional money, because life can throw many different things at you, and you want to be prepared. And so tonight, we're trying to help you think about using money as a tool so that you can get the best monetary benefit for your particular situation. Now, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up on what you need to do in order to be prepared, not only for retirement, but emergencies as well.
Be big fun for you and everyone. Play it each and every day. Master math the easy way. Sing, play it, Math Maze.
Why not turn math time into fun time with Math Maze, the new game craze? Get yours today at mathmaze.us.
Mom, now you can help your son master math and have big fun. Play it each and every day. Master math the easy way. Sing, play it, Math Maze.
Make sure your child owns the skills necessary for success in high school algebra. Get it now. Mathmaze.us. Mathmaze.us.
Dad, now you can help your daughter play it like you know you oughta. Play it each and every day. Master math the easy way. Say it, play it, Math Maze.
Math Maze cards contain both Spanish and English. Get yours today at mathmaze.us. That's mathmaze.us.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are talking about your financial future because it does not matter what age you are. It is always a good time to get started with saving and planning. And what we're trying to help you to think about tonight is, no matter where you are, we're trying to give you some tools that will help you to get started and will help you to be a lot more prepared when you decide to make the decision that you want to retire and you want to live a certain lifestyle. If you start planning now, you can create whatever it is that you desire. So these young ladies tonight are helping to put a face to the tools that you need in order to grow your money and to be able to make wise investments and choices that will help you to live in a comfortable style throughout your life, because as we all know, people are living a lot longer these days, and so we don't want your money to run out before your life does. So we're trying to help you to lay a good solid foundation so that when you are faced with retirement, you can make a good choice and a good decision and have the finances to support yourself. So we're now in our 50s, as you were when you started to save aggressively.
Thank you, yes.
And for those of us who don't want to have to save so aggressively, when would you say annuities and dividends from stock and all of that, when would you say is a good time to add that to your portfolio?
Well, with the annuities and the stocks, I'm not series licensed, so I can't really discuss that.
You can't make, okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, I know, though, that with annuities, they can be a good vehicle because they do offer some great tax benefits. So we don't want people to think that it's something that they shouldn't use. They just should go to a person that handles that and get the knowledge and the information.
But what I like to say, and this is the conversation that I had when I've sat down with financial planners, when you're in your 50s, you want something safe.
Okay.
When you're in your 50s, you don't want to go aggressive because you can't afford to lose any money.
Okay.
Because if the market crashes or you do lose money in the market, it's a long time to recoup, and you'll never recoup the same thing that you lost at the same rate.
Okay.
So at that age, you probably would want something safe, but at the same time, as I did, I invested in my parents.
All right.
Because in my 50s, I want to retire at 60, now 66. I don't have that long to save.
All right.
So now I need something that's going to guarantee a payoff.
All right.
And the guaranteed payoff is transferring wealth from one generation to the other.
Okay, well, what about the notion out there to create legacies for families purchasing a house? First of all, when would you recommend that you perhaps purchase the house? And how does owning a house help to create a financial legacy for your family?
Well, purchasing a house, and first you have to start with your credit.
Okay.
You have to have excellent credit. And I know, excellent credit, high credit scores, not a lot of credit card debt, good job. That's going to guarantee, you got to be able to make the payments, because when you're talking a house, you're talking homeowners insurance.
Okay.
And at that point, I know when I bought my house, that's when I stopped buying the designer purses, because all my money started going into the home instead of shopping.
Okay.
So when you talk about buying, it's a good way to transfer wealth, but then if you do own a home, you have to protect your home. And a lot of people don't think about that. If I'm going to make a step in owning a home, now I have to protect my assets and try to keep it within the family, because people don't realize if something happened to me, my home, and I don't have a living will or trust in place, Uncle Sam is going to take it. Probate, your money is going to be tied up in court, and your family's only going to see about half of it.
Okay, well, that's the other issue that I want to talk about is a will versus a living trust. And it's my understanding that in the Black community in particular, that many times there's a challenge in terms of making a will. I'm not sure historically why that is, but creating a will and certainly making a living trust. Because it's my understanding that the living trust is the one that really puts your family at ease. The will is a good tool, but the living trust simply addresses tax issues and perhaps things that you hadn't thought about. So could you talk a little bit about what a will does and what a living trust does?
It's not my expertise, but
okay,
I can tell you a living trust, you're giving your assets to the person that you want to have it.
Okay,
So
I think that's very important, you know.
For example, if I have 9 siblings, first of all, something happens to me because I'm not married, it'll go to my mom. If my mom is
Now,
not...
is that because you have her as your beneficiary or...
It's the law.
Okay, it's the law. Okay, here in the state of California?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if something happens to me,
Okay.
and because I'm not married and I don't have any children,
Okay.
it will go, the first person it will go to is your parent. And then if your parent is no longer around, then it will be divided equally amongst your siblings.
Okay.
And then if your siblings are not around, it goes to the next of kin. But
Okay.
say I have siblings that live in North Carolina, scattered around the state. They're doing really, really well. I have one sister over here with me. If something happens to me, I want it to go to my sister.
Okay.
With the living trust, I can specify this goes to my sister.
Mary. Okay. This will go to Mary. Okay.
But without that living trust in place, it will be divided equally amongst the siblings, and that may not be my plan.
Oh, okay. So you have to, the living trust automatically.
Guarantees.
Okay. It guarantees.
And it goes to who you want your property to go to. If you own a home, it's recommended that you do have a living trust.
Oh, okay. As opposed to having a will. Now, is there ever a situation where both are recommended, where a will and a living trust is necessary?
Well, sometimes, most times, both of them are recommended because the will will say, well, I want this X, Y, and Z done. And the living trust specifies how much you want done or what you want done, how much and where you want it to go.
So it's it adds the execution of...
It adds the specifics to
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And then another thing is to just back up a little bit as far as what you should do in your 50s. If you have not, up until that time, considered long-term care. Long-term care, given the nature of the environment and me being in the medical field, that was one of the sparks that I had to be educated upon. Even though I was a nurse, long-term care with my job would not cover the expenses. And if you just take nowadays...
Now, when you say long-term care, is this for you, the specific individual, or for somebody else?
The specific individual and or your dependents. You can also add you could pay for your mother or anyone.
Okay.
But specifically what we're talking about right now is for yourself.
Okay.
And right now, given the industry, as the long-term care as far as a nursing home, it ranges anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 a month.
Okay.
And so with long-term care insurance, what you could do is you can start paying for the long-term care insurance, and we go back to the same concept. The earlier you start, the better off you'll be. And if you start investing in yourself, in the care of yourself, right now, when it comes to time for you to be cared for, you have a different different choices, i.e. that you could be cared for at home in your own residence, and you can pay for different levels of nursing care, which means that you can have a home health aide, and that home health aide could care for you certain hours of the day, or 8 hours, or 7 days a week, or whatever you feel is necessary according to what your need is at that time. But the main thing is that your long-term care money will be stretched out, and it will take care of you for a longer period of time.
Okay. So let's say Saundra here, she's getting ready to retire. What's the date you think now that you might make that happen for yourself?
Well, my retirement date would be at age 66.
Wow. So it's already upon...
Because it wasn't properly planned.
Oh, okay. But you're still there. You're
I would love to retire today.
Let's just be emphatic about that. She's
we have
ready.
to work another 9 years.
So, I'm sorry, did you say you have to?
I have to work another 9 years.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, because you don't seem excited about that part of it. But let me ask this, because we only have a short time left. When people find themselves in your situation, and like you said that 9 years is what you're facing in terms of being able to retire the way you want to. When in that position, how do you recommend you wrap your head around, I guess, the fact that, well, this is what you must do. You are here, and Social Security, I guess, is not going to meet your need, nor, I guess, pension or whatever vehicles people traditionally have used. By the way, what part does Social Security play at this point? Because it's my understanding there are several different years that you can apply.
To my understanding, Social Security won't be around past 2034.
Okay.
So,
well, now, is that because of...
the money is going to run out.
Okay.
The money is not going to be there, so it's not going to be available for the millennium generation.
Okay.
So technically, the millennium generation should be funding their own retirement right now.
Okay.
They should start now.
Okay. And when you say funding their own retirement, it is the vehicles that we have discussed tonight, insurance, annuities and stocks, or whatever, mutual funds, or all of these things they should start to explore right now, 401ks and different vehicles that their jobs provide. Mm-hmm. They should start right now.
Well, you should start early, because when you wait too late, it's almost like life passes you by.
Okay.
So you want to start early, because the average person you're able to save a lot of money.
Okay.
When you start early.
Now, when you say save a lot of money, is that because of the taxes? Is that how you save the money? What does saving the money look like?
The cost is actually low for you.
Okay, because of your health.
Because of your age and your health.
Okay.
But the average person usually saves about $300 a month.
Wow. Okay. So in essence, you could put that money toward something.
Towards your retirement.
Okay.
It's easy. You don't see it. But it's real easy to do. If you can control your spending, control your credit card debt, it's really easy.
Well, quickly, before we get out of here, student loans. Now, that's an issue for the millennials. So what would you recommend for them regarding student loans, so that they don't fly into retirement with... Yes.
It's not my expertise again.
Okay.
But I would recommend, one, if you're in school, you should get the best grades that you could get, so you can get as many scholarships as possible.
And grants, yes.
Yes.
I did make that recommendation, even though I don't have a license or anything. But I do know that scholarship money, people
There's
provide
so
that.
many scholarships out there that people don't know about. Some people that apply, they get it on default.
Really?
You might get it because only one person applied. So you wrote a letter and you won on default. There's a lot of money out there. They just have to go after it.
Okay. I didn't think in terms of that the pool is not always big. That, you like you said, by default, you could end up getting the whole amount.
By default, yes.
Wow. Well, young people, that is certainly something to think about. And your money is something to think about. I must say, when I was growing up, I did not have people talking to me and showing me the way and telling me the options that I perhaps had in terms of how to use my money wisely and the tools and the vehicles that I needed to use in order to get to where I could be financially stable no matter how long I lived. But tonight we've tried to give you some recommendations in terms of where to get started. There may be more information that you can use, but at least this is a good foundation in terms of the insurance, especially if you're in your 20s. And the other thing is to help to change your behavior so that you're okay with saving and not using every penny. Now, some people believe that, I'm going to live life with reckless abandon and let the chips fall where they may. And trust me, if that is your attitude, that is exactly what will happen. The chips will fall where they may. But our show is to inspire you. And as always, we want to move you from misery to magnificence and from subpar to spectacular. And the only way to do that is keep your head up and put some of these principles in place. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed our discussion on financial planning. And we invite you to join us again next week. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Mastering math can be big fun. Fun for you and everyone. Play it each and every day. Master math the easy way. Sing, play it, Math Maze.
Why not turn math time into fun time with Math Maze, the new game craze? Get yours today at mathmaze.us.
Mom, now you can help your son master math and have big fun. Play it each and every day. Master math the easy way. Sing, play it, Math Maze.
Make sure your child owns the skills necessary for success in high school algebra. Get it now. Mathmaze.us. Mathmaze.us.
Dad, now you can help your daughter play it like you know you oughta. Play it each and every day. Master math the easy way. Say it, play it, Math Maze.
Math Maze cards contain both Spanish and English. Get yours today at mathmaze.us. That's mathmaze.us.
Give me your